If you don't bring money, your life doesn't matter, my dad said, as I left the moldy apartment with an urgent care wristband, while he passed my golden child sister her keys. Then Grandma showed up, and everything changed. Hey Reddit, I've been meaning to post this for a while, and after talking with a friend last night who said you guys would eat it up, I figured, why not? I, 19 male, with an older sister, Olivia, 22 female. And if you asked my parents, they'd probably tell you she's the second coming of royalty, while I'm just the extra background character. Our whole family dynamic has basically been, she asks, they open the wallet. I work, I study, I scrape by, and somehow I'm still the side quest. She fails classes, changes majors like outfits, doesn't have a job, and gets rewarded like she just cured cancer. So our kitchen has this giant whiteboard that my parents use as if we're managing a Fortune 500 company. They stand in front of it every Sunday night, budgeting, which basically means moving my dad's paycheck into my sister's lifestyle fund. At the top of the board in bubble letters, her name. Underneath are 3 fat squares. First month, last month, security deposit, X2. All highlighted like they're the holy trinity of housing. Someone even stuck a little crown sticker above it, which I'm 90% sure my mom bought just for this. Then, down in the corner, in thin writing so small it might as well be invisible, there's my line, transit/laptop, pending. It's been pending since May. It's September, but sure, let's keep pending while my lungs grow mushrooms. Dad uncapped the marker like he was opening the stock exchange and added new items. Pet fee and Pilates membership. Both got dollar signs bold enough to blind me. Mom nodded like this was a brilliant investment portfolio. They say things like timing matters and launching your sister the right way is key, like she's some kind of IPO. I slid my urgent care note across the table. Real official, printed on hospital letterhead. Suspected mold exposure. Prescribed albuterol inhaler. Recommend relocation. The doctor didn't even sugarcoat it. Basically told me to get out before I start coughing up mushrooms. Mom took one glance, nodded, and tucked it under a placemat like it was a junk mail coupon. We'll handle your situation after this is sorted, she said, circling the Pilates number twice. Cool, so my lungs can wait until her abs are toned? I asked. Dad tapped the marker on the board and gave me his classic lecture mode. He said we're supporting the heir. That stability for the firstborn sets the tone for the family. Then he looked at me and said, if you don't bring money, your life doesn't matter. He loves the word heir like we're in medieval England. What he means is, Grandma's will is written with her name on it, so they keep kissing her ass. Meanwhile, Olivia fires up her laptop and presents her mood board. Title slide, Aesthetic Non-Negotiables. There's a boucle couch, a neon sign that says breathe, a terrazzo bar cart, and a $1,500 hypoallergenic dog. She announces she needs first and last month's rent, a 2-month deposit, the pet fee, and $3,000 in furnishings. She says if she doesn't get a rooftop pool, she'll be too stressed to focus on school. Mind you, she's switched majors 3 times and currently claims she's leaning into her strengths, which basically means finding the easiest syllabus on campus. I pulled out my phone and showed them photos of my bedroom wall. Black splotches that look like a map of Middle Earth. Paint bubbles under the window. My dehumidifier, Debbie Downpour, fills a bucket in less than an hour. I even pulled up a text from my landlord. Bleach it. We'll monitor. Monitor in quotes, like even he knows he's lying. Dad squinted, then shrugged. It's an old building. Mom added, lots of people have dehumidifiers. Yeah, I said. Lots of people also have air they can breathe. Wild concept. I set my inhaler next to my Olivia's mood board like it was a swatch sample. Color coordinates with your neon sign. She scrolled past me and said her major change will help her lean into strengths. She said she needs clean air vibes for her new apartment. Funny how my black mold doesn't count as vibes. I asked for a bus pass and a laptop that won't die if I open more than 3 tabs. Dad waved me off, said, not the right moment. He wrote pet fee paid and Pilates paid and capped the marker like he just solved world hunger. Olivia posted a story. Fresh air. Fresh start. Background photo? A shiny stainless steel fridge. Reflection in the corner? Dad's credit card. She didn't even notice. The family iPad pinged. Grandma. Family dinner Friday? Mom replied with hearts. Grandma. Surprise visit. Can't wait to see how everyone's doing. My dad nearly dropped the marker. He immediately started printing the lease appointment confirmation and pinned it under a cow-shaped magnet. Olivia scrolled through listings and said she wanted a higher floor because lower floors feel like basements. I kept my mouth shut because my actual place is a garden-level cave where I cough like a coal miner. I pulled out receipts from my backpack. Urgent care copay, pharmacy sticker, dehumidifier invoice. I slid them across the table. Dad stacked them neatly, said he'd bundle them for the flexible spending account, and then signed a check to Pilates West without blinking. I told them my campus job starts Monday, if I can show I have reliable transport. Dad said, after we get her settled, we'll catch up your items. Catch up, like I'm a forgotten to-do list. Olivia announced she's putting a deposit on a dog before move-in. She says she needs emotional support for transitions. Dad added pet deposit to the board. The number he wrote down could pay my rent for 2 months. Debbie Downpour rumbled in my room, which Mom said gives her a headache. I said mold gives me an inhaler. Olivia ordered a Dyson purifier for her new place and sent the confirmation to Dad for reimbursement. She spelled reimbursement wrong, then sent a corrected one. Grandma texted again, landing Thursday night. Don't fuss. I'll Uber. Which is hilarious because she's never used Uber. She prints MapQuest directions and hands them to whoever drives. Dad scribbled Grandma pickup on a sticky note and put it under Keys Day. My landlord texted me again. Reminder, tenant responsibility for moisture. Upstairs, neighbor texted me, your bathroom ceiling peeling too? Mine's gross. I forwarded both to Dad. He gave me a thumbs up emoji. Said we'll present complaints professionally after things settle. Olivia's phone dinged. Mom asked what it was. She said the landlord was offering a special if we sign this week. Dad said we should strike while rates are good. He opened the budgeting app on the iPad and added, security deposit, princess apartment. He scrolled past education, my name, like it didn't exist. I asked again about the bus pass. Mom Venmo'd me $20 with the note gas. I don't own a car. I sent a request back labeled Oxygen Fund. No response. That night, Mom planned dinner around sage versus cloud white paint colors. Olivia said sage is dead and she needs cloud white with warm undertones. I said my bathroom ceiling paint peels itself, so color isn't really my problem. Dad told me not to peel it. Before leaving, I packed wipes, cheap masks, and a filter for Debbie Downpour. Mom asked me to sign for a package tomorrow since Olivia would be out furniture shopping. I asked what it was. She said a boucle chair. I said I'd bring my spine. She didn't laugh. On my way out, Grandma texted, bring updates? I want to see how my grandchildren are thriving. I took a photo of the whiteboard with all her boxes filled in, and my pending line. Saved it as thriving.jpg. Debbie Downpour got the joke. Grandma's plane landed Thursday night, and by sunrise Friday, my parents were running around like the Pope was coming over. Mom bleached the countertops twice and lined up candles like we were staging a home for sale. Dad kept erasing and rewriting numbers on the budget whiteboard like somehow changing $3,200 deposit to $2,999 deposit would make Grandma less suspicious. My sister was in her room practicing her moving out speech in the mirror. She had the hand gestures down like she was about to announce world peace. Meanwhile, I was hacking up a lung on the couch and trying to convince Debbie Downpour, my dehumidifier, to keep working past 40 minutes without sounding like a dying tractor. By the time Grandma walked through the front door, suitcase in one hand, tote bag in the other, the house looked staged for HGTV. Olivia, being her usual influencer wannabe self, was already live streaming a closet cleanse. She was standing in front of the mirror pulling clothes off hangers while narrating which colors were low vibe. Grandma comes in right in the middle of it. Perfect timing. First comment on the stream, who's coughing in the background? That'd be me. Grandma eyes me up and down, then asks, what's wrong with you? I waved the inhaler in the air. Exclusive sponsorship deal. Mold picked me as their brand ambassador. Mom jumped in with, he just has seasonal allergies. Because apparently seasonal allergies cause black spots on walls and paint to bubble. Grandma didn't even blink. Where are you living now? She asked me. 10 minutes from here, I said. Want to see? The air in the room shifted immediately. Dad stiffened. Mom dropped a spoon onto the table, and Olivia muttered, he's exaggerating, Nana. Old buildings just have character. Grandma didn't miss a beat. She looked straight at me, then back at Olivia, and said, well, this building with character seems to be leaking into my grandchild and possessing him. I want to see it for myself. Let's go. And that was it. She didn't ask. She didn't debate. She just started heading toward the door. My parents scrambled, muttering excuses. Dad said Grandma must be tired from traveling. Mom said she had dinner prep to do. Olivia said I was just being dramatic because I didn't get what I wanted. Grandma ignored all of them, already halfway to the garage. She stopped right in front of the car parked there and tapped the hood. This is your car, right? she asked, looking at me. Before I could answer, Olivia jumped in, flipping her hair like she was auditioning for a shampoo commercial. Actually, it's my car, Garn. Do you like it? I think it looks cool with my outfit today. Oh, bro, take a photo of me next to it, would you? I need new content. She was already digging for her phone, ready to pose like the car was a runway accessory instead of a rusting hand-me-down. Grandma just turned her head slowly toward me and asked, "And you? Do you have a car?" I shrugged. Nope. My rides are Debbie Downpour in the corner, and whatever bus route is still running after 9 p.m. Real luxury stuff. Grandma didn't say anything. She just gave me this sharp look, the kind that said more than any speech, and then pointed toward the car. Let's go. We drove over. I unlocked my apartment, and as soon as we stepped inside, Grandma actually stopped walking. The smell hit her like a punch. Damp carpet mixed with mildew, the kind of scent Yankee Candle would sell as eviction notice. Debbie Downpour was gurgling away in the corner, still the hardest working member of this family. Wow, Grandma said flatly. Welcome to my spa, I told her. Today's special treatment, spore inhalation. I pulled the bed away from the wall, and there it was in all its glory. Black mold blooming across the drywall like a Rorschach test of failure. Paint bubbling around the window, the wood frame swollen. Grandma crouched, took out her phone, and started recording a video. She didn't say a word, just filmed like she was documenting a crime scene. The upstairs neighbor heard us talking and poked his head out. You showing her the wall? He asked. My bathroom ceiling looks like that now too. We've all complained. Nothing happens. He waved and went back inside like this was just the neighborhood routine. Grandma turned back to me. You have your lease? I pulled the crumpled copy from my desk drawer and handed it over. She folded it into her tote bag. Then she asked for my doctor's note. I showed her the urgent care discharge paper, prescription bag with the inhaler sticker still on it, and the pharmacy receipt. She snapped photos of each. By the time we got back to my parents' house, Mom was setting the table like she was feeding royalty. Grandma sat down, put her tote bag on the chair next to her, and immediately asked, "Show me the budget app and the 529 accounts." Mom said, "We'll get those together later." Grandma just smiled, reached over to the kitchen counter, picked up the family iPad, and dropped it into her tote bag. I'll look at them later myself. Dad opened his mouth, then closed it. No one argued. At dinner, Mom tried to distract everyone by asking Olivia about her future apartment aesthetic. She lit up, went on a rant about cloud white with warm undertones and how sage green was dead. She described her dream dining set, her fake dog she hasn't bought yet, the balcony office she hasn't signed for yet. It was like hearing someone describe a dream they had after binging HGTV. Grandma cut her off mid-sentence. I see that you got lots on your plate, but do you care to tell me why does your brother's wall have mold? The table went dead silent. Dad cleared his throat and said, "It's an old building." Mom said, "The landlord is stubborn." Olivia rolled her eyes and said, "Mold's like common." He's being dramatic. Grandma set her fork down. He's been to urgent care. That's not dramatic. That's neglect. Dad tried to backpedal, but Grandma didn't look away. My sister mumbled something about her keys reveal stream and how this negativity was going to throw off her vibe. After dinner, Grandma pulled me aside into the den. She sat down with her tote bag, pulled out the iPad and said, "Tomorrow morning, bring every piece of paperwork you have. I want to see receipts, notes, bills, whatever. I'm going to find out exactly how this family's money is being spent." I nodded. "Should I bring Debbie Downpour too?" She cracked the first smile of the day. "No, just the receipts." Saturday morning felt like trial prep. Grandma took over the kitchen table like it was a courtroom. She had her tote bag open, papers fanned out, printer copies stacked, and the family iPad sitting right in front of her like Exhibit A. My parents looked like defendants on their last appeal. Dad was pacing around muttering about context. Mom kept trying to refill everyone's coffee like caffeine might distract us from reality. And Olivia sat glued to her phone, probably drafting captions about how chaotic her life was, while ignoring the chaos she actually caused. Grandma cleared her throat, tapped the iPad, and the budgeting app lit up. Every tap made a loud ping that echoed through the kitchen. Felt less like a budgeting app, more like a slot machine, except the jackpot only ever paid out to my sister. She turned the screen so we could all see. "Last 90 days, she said. $8,700 spent on her. 184 on him. Dad coughed. Mom said, "Different needs." Grandma didn't blink. She pulled out a side-by-side printout. 2 neat columns, one labeled with my sister's name, the other with mine. Olivia's column had landlord tours, tutoring bills, Study coaches, furniture orders, new electronics, Pilates packages, 2 different air purifiers, and, this part got a laugh out of me, eucalyptus shower steamers. My column had the urgent care copay, a pharmacy receipt for an inhaler, a $50 bus ticket I paid for myself, and a receipt for Debbie Downpour, my dehumidifier, which I bought off some guy who sells refurbished junk out of his garage. Equal footing, Grandma said, tapping the paper. This is not equal footing. This is lopsided parenting with a spa subscription. Olivia whispered, "This is embarrassing." Grandma looked straight at her. "Yes, it is." Before anyone could speak, the family group chat lit up. Grandma had just posted the collage to everyone, cousins, aunts, uncles, with a caption, "Both grandchildren deserve the same chance." She dropped my mold photos right next to a screenshot of my sister's $1,200 boucle chair order, like it was an art exhibit on bad parenting. Then Grandma followed it up with, "Let's ask for advice on this. If you think I'm not being reasonable, I know some of your family members would have a decent mindset." The replies rolled in instantly. Aunt, shameful. Uncle, unbelievable. Cousin, so that's where the college fund went. Another cousin just sent a GIF of someone shaking their head. Dad lunged forward to grab the iPad. Grandma slid it further across the table and said, "Don't touch evidence." That's when my phone buzzed. Email from the campus job office. Need proof of reliable transportation by Monday morning. If not, position goes to next candidate. I held up my phone. "See this? They want proof. I need a bus pass. Unless you think spores are going to start driving Uber." Mom tried the usual deflection. "We'll handle that after your sister's deposit clears." Grandma raised an eyebrow. "After? He's been told to relocate for medical reasons. You're wiring money for decoration while he's breathing mold?" Olivia finally looked up. "Mold's not that bad. People live with it all the time. He's just being dramatic." Grandma leaned in. "He's been to urgent care." "That's not dramatic. That's documented." I sipped my coffee like it was in the movies. Then Aunt walked in, dragging a guy in a city polo shirt carrying a moisture meter. "Inspector," she said, "since no one here seems to care." Dad nearly choked. Mom stammered about overstepping boundaries. The inspector just shrugged and said he'd head to my rental later that day. He tapped the moisture meter against the wall for show. Should be interesting. While that was happening, I glanced at the iPad screen still open on the budgeting app. There it was. Security deposit. Princess Apt. And right under it, a draft guarantor letter already filled with Grandma's name. Never approved. My jaw dropped. "Funny," Grandma said, snatching it back. "I don't remember agreeing to co-sign anything." Dad stuttered, "That's just placeholder text." Grandma laughed, which made it worse. "Good thing, because I've booked a notary for this afternoon. My will is under review. Both grandchildren will have equal support under the same conditions. No more firstborn entitlement." The room froze like someone had cut the power. Olivia's face went pale. Mom whispered, "Mom, please, don't do this." Grandma stood, packed up her papers, and slung her tote over her shoulder. "It's already done. The favoritism ends today. Tomorrow, we put it in writing." The table was silent. Olivia went back to her phone, probably typing family drama OMG to her friends. Dad sat down like he'd been benched. Mom started stacking plates that weren't even dirty. I leaned back, inhaler in my pocket, and said, "Finally, a family plan that doesn't include Pilates." Sunday was branded in Olivia's calendar as Key's reveal day. She had been posting countdown stories for a week, complete with emojis, inspirational quotes, and badly photoshopped apartment inspo pictures. She told her followers she was starting her independent journey, which is funny considering every cent was coming from my parents' checking account. The house was turned into a film set. Balloons, cheap streamers, and a rented ring light positioned smack in the living room like we were about to launch a new iPhone. She kept practicing lines in front of the mirror. "Hey guys, big day today. My own place." Then she'd fake cry and dab at her eyes. She did at least 3 takes of her OMG I'm so grateful face. Meanwhile, I was in the corner trying to finish a job application on my ancient laptop. The thing froze, fans screaming like a leaf blower, and then the screen just went black. Dead. I asked if I could borrow one of her laptops. She had 3 of them stacked on her desk like trophies. She said, "Sorry, I need them for my haul video." Sure, because opening throw pillows on camera is obviously mission critical. By 11 a.m., guests started arriving. Family, a couple of her friends, even one of her wannabe influencer buddies with a tripod. Everyone thought they were here for drinks and keys. What they actually got was Grandma's intervention hour. Grandma walked in, folder in hand, face like stone. She didn't sit down. She just went straight for the camera setup, looked directly into the ring light, and said, "Stop this nonsense. We need to talk about fairness." The live stream was already running. Comments flew up the screen. "Who's the lady? Wait, is this her grandma? Why does she look mad af?" Olivia stammered. "Nana, can you wait? We're live." Grandma cut her off. "Perfect. Everyone should hear this. Both grandchildren are getting equal support. Tuition, transportation, launch funds, no exceptions. But deposits are only released if there's proof of passing classes or part-time work. Same rules for both." The room went quiet. Olivia's jaw dropped so fast I thought she'd swallow her mic. Dad muttered, "This isn't the time." Too bad the internet disagreed. The live stream had already been shared around like free pizza and racked up over 15,000 views before it even ended. Neighbors from 2 doors down were in the comments too, asking if we were always this rich on drama. Then, right on cue, Aunt barged in with the city inspector trailing behind her. The guy pulled out a clipboard like he'd just been waiting to write someone up. "Got the photos," he said. "I'll be checking that rental for mold later today." The live stream chat exploded. "Mold? Her brother lives in a dungeon? No way this is real. Keep the camera on." Olivia hissed. "Turn it off! Turn it off!" But it was too late. At least 5 people were screen recording. Grandma, now fully in performance mode, held up the draft guarantor letter my parents had prepared with her name typed in. "I didn't agree to co-sign anything," she said. Then she ripped it in half right there, in full view of the live stream. Chat went insane. Legend Grandma for President iconic. Dad tried to save face. Tradition says the oldest gets priority. Grandma shot back. Tradition also says don't neglect your other children until they're living in mold. Maybe you should try that, Tradition. Mom whispered. Please don't humiliate us like this. Grandma ignored her. A notary is coming this afternoon. My will is being amended. Both grandchildren get equal funds with conditions. This parenting style ends today. The inspector coughed and muttered, "This family needs a Netflix deal." The live stream comments agreed. People started tagging each other to join. Meanwhile, my phone buzzed again. Email from the leasing office. "We need the guarantor proof by 5 p.m. or we release the unit." I held it up and said, "Guess you'll need a time machine to fix this one." The chat ate it up. BRO said time machine LOL. Olivia bolted for her room, slammed the door, and went live privately on Instagram to her close friends, crying about how her own family was ruining her life. Too bad half those close friends were in the comments of the public stream, posting screenshots. The balloons drooped, the streamers started falling off the wall, and the ring light hummed like it was mocking her. Dad sat there red-faced. Mom buried her head in her phone. Grandma stayed planted like a general, fielding questions from the livestream chat about tuition, wills, and what happens if one grandkid fails classes. She answered them all like a pro. By the end of the day, the whole house felt like a battlefield. Olivia had cried herself into another Instagram rant. My parents looked like they'd been run over. And Grandma had a notary appointment locked down. The only thing missing was popcorn. So yeah, what was supposed to be my sister's big keys reveal party turned into a live-streamed family audit hosted by Grandma. Honestly, best content Olivia's channel has ever seen. Monday morning was supposed to be quiet. Grandma had already blown up the fake keys party. The will change was in motion, and I figured the house would spend a day licking its wounds. But my parents don't do quiet. They went straight into scramble mode, trying to patch up the mess like duct tape could fix a demolition site. Dad's first genius move was to bypass Grandma completely. He opened his laptop at the dining table, muttering about handling things internally, and tried to wire the apartment deposit straight from his company account to the landlord. I watched him typing like he was hacking into the Pentagon. 5 minutes later, he slammed the lid shut. The bank flagged it as fraud, froze the transfer, and called his boss. By noon, he was pacing the driveway, phone pressed to his ear, swearing it was a temporary personal matter. Translation, caught funneling spoiling funds through work like a discount mobster. He came back in sweating bullets. Mom whispered what happened. He just muttered internal review and sat down. I asked if his company offered a loyalty card for repeat offenders. He didn't laugh. Meanwhile, the same city inspector from the livestream actually followed through. He showed up at my rental with a moisture reader that beeped like a heart monitor every time it touched the walls. He asked me to film while he measured humidity and swabbed mold spots. He even pointed out warped window frames like a tour guide. Here's where the spores thrive. Here's the water damage buffet. His report came in that afternoon. Habitability compromised. He sent it to the landlord and CC'd me. The landlord's response was to text me, "Do not record my property again." Consider this a warning. I forwarded it to Aunt. She sent him back a screenshot of the city's tenant retaliation statute and CC'd half the family. He hasn't texted since. Aunt didn't just clap back with statutes. She called the city housing authority and filed an official complaint. Between the inspector's report and the landlord's little warning text, it was a slam dunk for retaliation. Within a couple of weeks, housing court mediation wrapped. With the inspector's report, my inhaler receipts, and the landlord's "consider this a warning" text, he folded fast. I got my full deposit back, 2 months of hotel costs, money toward my doctor visits, and a retaliation penalty. The check came out to just under $7,000. Because it went through housing court, he also got a compliance order to fix the place before renting it again. Not retirement money, but enough to call it mold profit and get me out of the Spore Palace. Olivia, meanwhile, decided her best strategy was public tears. She went live, crying into her camera about toxic family interference. She claimed people were jealous of her success, that I was making up stories to ruin her big moment. The comments shredded her. People brought up the live stream with Grandma ripping the guarantor letter in half. Others asked why her brother was sleeping in mold while she was demanding Pilates memberships. One brand she'd been tagging in every video quietly froze her collab deal. That afternoon, she posted again, saying, "Haters will always hate." Screenshots of both posts landed in the family group chat, thanks to cousins who apparently have nothing better to do. Grandma didn't even flinch. She rolled up in the afternoon with reinforcements, a loaded transit card, a refurbished ThinkPad, and receipts for a hotel room, so I wouldn't have to sleep under spores while sorting housing. She called it interim relocation. She made me promise to take photos of every receipt and keep them in an evidence folder. Evidence is her new love language. She also waved around a draft trust her lawyer had finished. It spelled out the new rules. Equal funds for both grandchildren, quarterly disbursements, but only if we either pass 12 credits per semester or work at least 15 hours a week. No credits, no job, no money. My parents read it like it was a death sentence. Mom mumbled, "This isn't how our family operates." Grandma shot back, "Your family hasn't been operating at all." Dad tried to argue about tradition, but even he looked defeated. Olivia called it anti-feminist because apparently holding a job is oppression. Grandma told her, responsibility isn't gendered. Around 4 in the afternoon, the leasing office emailed again. They wanted valid guarantor paperwork by 4:55 p.m., or the unit would be released. That sent my parents into meltdown mode. On a second attempt, Mom scrambled to Photoshop Grandma's name onto a guarantor letter. She didn't even match the fonts. It looked like a ransom note. They sent it in anyway. 10 minutes later, the leasing office replied, "Forgery suspected. Document invalid." At 4:56, the unit was officially back on the market. The explosion was immediate. Olivia screamed so loud I thought the drywall would crack. Dad shouted about losing leverage. Mom cried about public embarrassment. Olivia stormed off and recorded a new rant for her close friend's story on Instagram, pacing her room and wailing about betrayal. She forgot that 2 of our cousins were in that list. Screenshots of her meltdown were in the family chat before she'd even calmed down. By dinner, the house looked like a graveyard for bad ideas. The balloons from her fake keys party drooped in the corner. Streamers sagged off the wall. Dad sat at the table, staring into space. Mom refreshed her email every 30 seconds, hoping the leasing office would magically change their mind. Olivia was on FaceTime pacing her room, repeating, "They ruined my life," on loop. I ate leftovers cold straight from the container. "Solid show," I said. 10 out of 10. Would livestream again. Grandma, sitting across from me, didn't even blink. She just pulled the notary appointment card from her purse and slid it onto the table like a mic drop. Tomorrow, everything was going to be signed. Collapse complete. The notary visit made everything official. Grandma's trust rules weren't just threats anymore. They were in writing, signed, sealed, and notarized in front of half the family who came over just to watch my parents squirm. Both of us got equal funds, released quarterly, under one condition. Either pass 12 credits a semester or work 15 hours a week. Fail to do either, and you don't see a dime. For me, no problem. For my sister, it was like telling a fish to climb a tree. The semester didn't even make it halfway before the cracks showed. She'd already switched majors 3 times, which left her with some Frankenstein mix of random electives. She called them her custom curriculum. Her advisor called it unfocused. Same thing, just one version has tuition bills attached. Out of the 5 classes she signed up for, she was failing 2, barely scraping by in another, and one professor flagged her for lack of participation. That's polite college speak for she hasn't shown up. Grandma demanded grade updates. Olivia sent screenshots cropped so badly, you could still see her phone battery percentage at 2%. Grandma wasn't fooled. She emailed the registrar herself and got the official progress report. 10 minutes later, she replied to the whole family group chat. She has not met the conditions. No disbursement this quarter. Try again next term. No emojis, no sugarcoating, just financial execution by group email. The screaming started before I could even put my phone down. Olivia stormed into the kitchen with her laptop under her arm, like she was about to present evidence in court. This is ridiculous. I've been under pressure. My mental health is fragile. I can't focus. I need the money now. Dad almost caved. You could see it on his face. He was halfway to reaching for the checkbook when Grandma said, "If you give her 1 cent outside the trust, I'll know." And honestly, I believe her. She probably has spies at their bank. Olivia switched tactics and turned on Mom. "Please, you've always supported me. You know I need this. You know I can't survive without your help." Mom's lip quivered. For a second, I thought she'd fold too. But then she muttered, "We can't override the trust. It's out of our hands." Translation: "We're scared of Grandma, and you're on your own." That was the exact second Olivia realized her throne was gone. The chosen child routine had expired. No more golden goose. So naturally, she came after me. Later that night, I found her sitting on my bed while Debbie Downpour buzzed away in the corner. She put on her best sad face, the one she probably practiced for live streams. "Can't you lend me some money?" "Just for now. You're working. You've got savings. You're not struggling anymore. I'll pay you back once I figure things out." I laughed so hard I actually choked on my own breath. "You're asking the guy who literally lived in a mushroom farm of an apartment to bail you out? You want me to Venmo you mold compensation funds?" Her face twisted. "You don't have to be so selfish. It wouldn't kill you to help family." I held up my inhaler. "Funny you say that. Breathing mold almost did kill me, and you didn't care." She tried every trick. Guilt trips about being siblings, promises to pay me back, even some nonsense about investing in her future. I told her flat out, "You want money? Go work. Those are the rules. Either pass your classes or get a job. No one's cutting checks for vibes." She stomped out, slamming the door so hard the dehumidifier rattled. For the first time in years, I felt like I won something. The fallout was almost comical. Olivia sulked around the house like a dethroned monarch. No more Instagram hauls, no more moving out updates. Her followers started asking where the apartment was, and she dodged the comments by posting motivational quotes about delayed journeys. My parents, meanwhile, completely pivoted. Suddenly, I was the golden child. Dad asked me about my job every other day. Mom started cooking my favorite meals like she just remembered I existed. They even offered to help me settle when I finally moved into the small studio apartment Grandma's relocation fund helped me secure. It was painfully obvious. They hadn't grown a conscience. They just realized I was the one with steady income and Grandma's blessing. Their sudden affection felt faker than Olivia's fake crying live streams. Moving day rolled around. My dad offered to help carry boxes. My mom asked if I needed curtains. I said no thanks, I'd handle it. The less I relied on them, the better. I unpacked my stuff into a studio apartment with clean white walls, actual ventilation, and not a single spore colony in sight. Debbie Downpour got to retire in peace. I set up my ThinkPad, opened my first actual fridge stocked with groceries I paid for myself, and realized I was breathing clean air for the first time in years. That night, my phone buzzed. A text from Olivia. "So you're really just going to leave me behind?" I typed back, "You left me behind years ago. Work for it." Then I muted her number. My parents still call sometimes. Suddenly they care about my health, my grades, my job. They think if they act sweet now, I'll forget the years they ignored me while pouring everything into Olivia. But I haven't forgotten. They haven't changed. They just switched favorites because the scoreboard flipped. This time, I'm not playing along. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.